Paul McShane, from when we were out here, he was on the bench. What's the...
No, I think he felt his hip in his back from training yesterday, but I think he'll be okay. He'll live.
Any concerns, any injuries?
No. No, John's obviously come in this morning. John Walters trained, as you saw. Paul sat out training. So no, they're all in good shape.
How pleased were you to have John Walters back today?
Oh, yeah, well, we always thought obviously he'd get back in. He thought a move might happen the last obviously 48 hours. So no, John. The plan was obviously he was always going to be in this morning. We got a few days to work with him, and yeah, no problem.
Are you pleased in a way that all the to and fro happened to such an experienced player, maybe to a younger player like on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we knew that before we turned up. There was only one or two players that maybe looked like a deal might be happening. So it wasn't a case of 7-8 players might be getting moves. I know it's happened previously. So the fact that it was just John, yeah, he's an experienced player, and yeah, there was never any really concern that it was going to affect him. The fact the move didn't happen, he's at a good club, he's in the last year, so I don't think that will affect him one bit, and just happy to have him.
Were you pleased not to be involved in this move for John? Obviously you were his manager last time we switched clubs.
Yeah, it's not even crossed my mind, to be honest with you. More important things to worry about.
Right. Is it unsettling, Roy, that all this is happening up ahead of a couple of
No, for the player. No, I don't think so. I think for a player like John, as I said, he's experienced. He's not a young kid. I think it's obviously maybe on the cards over the weekend, and it's not panned out. But John's in a good position. He's a good player. The fact is, a few clubs are interested in him. It's probably helps his confidence a little bit, and he's had a good club in Stoke. He's in the last year of his contract, so I don't think it's a bad position for John to be in, personally. And he's obviously with us. He's done really well in the last international match, so I think John's in a good position. So I don't think anything. He's not turning up in a negative frame of mind. He's upbeat. Obviously, he was hoping something might happen, but deals fall through. That's the industry we're in.
Were you hoping that maybe Aidan McGeady might get a move, for example?
Yeah, I think there was something maybe possibly happened with Aidan. Yeah, I think he mentioned maybe a possible loan deal, but listen, we've said it before. We always want our players playing regularly, but again, it's a bit awkward for me to talk about players at their clubs because I don't know the ins and outs of it. Obviously, we'd like Aidan to be playing regularly, but he's at a good club in Everton. They've obviously got a big squad. Competition is good for players. Aidan just got to knuckle down to try and get Everton's first team, which is never easy because they've got a lot of quality players and they've invested as well over the last few days. But you'd have to ask Aidan now. That's up to Aidan to knuckle down and play regular football, because the big problem for us, I've said it many times before, is players turn up at international level not really playing week in, week out, and it does catch up with you eventually.
When you see his performance against Georgia in the first game, you realise how important he was to us. Do you think he'll be involved and important again in these two?
Well, he'll be involved in one way or the other because he's here. Everyone who's here has got a part to play, whether they'll be starting or obviously coming from the bench. And obviously we got the two games in 3 or 4 days, so he'll play a part. And but as I said, it's not ideal for players who aren't playing regularly, and Aidan's missed a lot of football. I think he's missed most of pre-season, I think, with the injury going back to the end of last season, so that's not ideal. But if we need him and he starts or he comes on a sub, I'm sure he'll do the business for us.
Well, was James McCarthy for you?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, yeah. No, I think he did get a knock last week, but I think if you're playing midfield in the middle of the park, you should be getting knocks every week. That's the name of the game. You're hitting people, they're hitting you. And I'm always concerned when lads turn up, and particularly midfielders, and they've not had knocks. You're supposed to get knocks. You're supposed to get knocks in training. It's part of the game. But he's trained today, and I think he had a scan yesterday, just a precautionary scan. But he's fine.
What was the scan on?
I think it was his knee. I think he got a knock from the weekend, and But these Everton players, no, they're all fit. It's good.
Has he looked good so far this season, Roy?
I've not seen too much of James, but yeah, listen, James is a good player, yeah, and I think I've only seen him once or twice, but no, James is a good player.
Mark Wilson had a bit of an injury before the season started. I know he played in the League Cup, played 20 odd minutes against West Brom.
Yeah.
Is that colouring the thinking going into these?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask the manager again. It's not ideal, but sometimes lads turn up. You've got experienced players, as you said. He played in the League Cup. He got a half an hour playing with 9 men, so he obviously had to put his shift in even in the short space of time. But again, a lot of these lads, sometimes when you're not on the fringes, they still look after themselves. Okay, they're lacking a little bit of match sharpness, but it's still early in the season. I always felt, even as a player, it would take 7-8 games to get into the swing of things. So even if he's playing regularly, I still think there's more to come from him. But Willo's trained today, and no problem. He's a good pro, and again, he's never let us down.
What did you make generally of the madness of the transfer window deadline, especially going a couple of days into the...
No, well, to be honest, yesterday we didn't really take too much notice of it because of the fact there was only, as I said, it'd be different if there was 7 or 8 Irish players getting involved and they were having medicals and you're thinking one of them would be flying in. There was only John that really got involved in one. So we weren't concerned with it. Obviously we trained yesterday, we've got new surroundings ourselves, great to be at the new training centre, new hotels, an important game for us. So I didn't really get, overanalyse. I just focused on the Irish team.
Roy, I'm sorry, 14 years ago today, you had the 1-0 win over Hull back at Lansdowne Road. Any thoughts on that day? Do you think that this group will be in a similar predicament in a month's time?
No. Listen, again, I'm not really one for looking back. 14 years ago, I didn't even know that. But no, we're focused on the game. Professional footballers. We're training today. We got back, relaxed. We wrote last night the pictures. We're just good atmosphere amongst the players, getting ready for a game. We've got to be focused. Can't take our eye off the ball. We know that. Been in the game long enough. You relax too much, there's a good chance you're going to lose a game of football. And it's a game we can't afford to lose. And our focus, whatever, about 14 years ago, 14 months ago, we're just focused on the training today. Hopefully get the team right, get lads through training, and get ready for Friday. We travel in the morning, looking forward to the game, training. Yeah, we're all set. It's good.
7 goals in the last 2 home game. Do you expect the team to be pushing to go out there and get a big goal tally this game?
Well, first and foremost, you want to win the game of football. That's in our mindset. If we can score 1 goal, 2, 7, whatever it might be. I think we were 7-0 up after an hour. We made lots of changes. We possibly could have got more goals, but obviously away from home. As I said, we've seen enough of Gibraltar to understand is if we're not at the races, and we've seen with the goal they got against Scotland, 1 or 2 chances against Germany. We just, you've seen enough games yourself. If we take our eye off the ball, we could slip up. So first and foremost, win the game. For us as staff, we want to see goals. But that's up to the players to go out and perform and get the right result and take some momentum into the home game. But as I said, I can't overanalyse it. It's a massive game for us. We're ready for it. Are we expected to win? Of course we are. But that's good. We got experienced players. We're not sitting here thinking the biggest danger sometimes in these games. You see it in England sometimes with cup games. If you take your eye off the ball, you underestimate somebody, then you're in trouble. We've seen it before, and we just got to make sure that doesn't happen. That's part of our jobs. And as I said, we got experienced players in the squad, and I don't think there's any chance of that happening.
Last question. Weekend in the group, so the other games are really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's good.
How do you see them going? And do you think Georgia could do us a favour?
Yeah, well, we found it difficult to win in Georgia, so I'm pretty sure it'll be tough for Scotland. But again, you can't worry about what's going on. I think it's massive 4 games coming up for lots of countries. We're looking forward to it. Our mindset's on what we can do, and obviously we're hoping other teams might slip up. But first and foremost, we've got to do our own jobs.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, okay. We cannot talk too much about it. Who knows? Two very good teams.
Any thoughts to Shane Duncan on the scouting trip over in Blackburn?
No, he done well. He played well, and I'm sure he'll be back in the squad soon. Again, the benefit for Shane is that he's playing regularly. He looks in good shape. I spoke to Gary Boyer the previous week, and he's delighted with him. So that's what we want. We want from our Irish players playing week in, week out in the championship. And again, he's at a good club in Blackburn, and he's working with a good manager, and that'll be good for us.
Okay, that's it.
That's it. Gibson yesterday, the manager said it could be a big stage in his international career. Would you echo that?
In terms of
just making sure that it's a key stage that he cracks on and that he's available and maybe refocus.
Of course, yeah. Well, obviously Darren's had his injury problems over the last few years, and we know he's a good player. But again, Darren needs to get games under his belt. Whatever is off the field stuff, he's a young player. He's obviously going to make a few mistakes. But yeah, we know a fit Darren Gibson can contribute to the Irish team. But he's got to get fit and he's got to play regularly.
Okay, that's it. Thanks, lads.